Hello, my name is Wildstag, and thank you for tuning in to another used book rant. Today's going to be a short one because I'm discussing this short novella, The Lies of the Ajungo, written by Moses Ose Utomi. I bought this at McKay Books in Manassas, Virginia for $14.74, and it's copyright 2023. I read this and I was with it from the start. Now, I don't often buy something purely based on the praise on the back, but I will be influenced by that. And one of the pieces of praise is actually kind of covered up by the sticker, but is from Fonda Lee, the author of the Greenbone Saga and Untethered Sky, which stays on my bookshelf right up here. And I'll bring that one out fully. Untethered Sky, Fonda Lee. This one, very simple story, but very emotional story as well. There wasn't an overarching, like a grand conflict that was driving that one. It was emotion and character drama. This one also has praise from Suyi Davies Okungboa, author of Son of the Storm, so I have Son of the Storm on my bookshelf. I bought it. I don't think because it was on the praise for this book, but it was, when I was looking at it just now, I realized I have that book. It should be on that shelf over there. So it's in another room, but it's on the top shelf of a bookcase. I'm gonna read eventually. This book is short. In total, the text is only 84 pages long. As I said, this was copyright 2023. It's a Tor book. First edition 2023, printed in the United States of America. The jacket art is by Alyssa Winans and jacket design by Christine Foltzer. The author blurb says that Moses Ose Utomi is a Nigerian-American fantasy writer currently based out of Honolulu, Hawaii. It's an interesting author. This one, though, is about a young man from a city named the City of Lies. And at the age of 13, all of the city's citizens have their tongues cut out, and in exchange for their tongues, a foreign city aids them by giving them water. That the basis is that there is no water in the City of Lies, but the city needed help, and so it called for help from a far off land who sells them water for the price of the tongues of every adult citizen. And each person is given a ration of water which needs to last as long as they can. So the main character, Tutu, has grown up thirsty. He always is parched. He is taught by his mother to not shed tears except for friends, never to let an enemy see you, shed a tear, basically. And tears are water, of course, so you survive by retaining as much water as possible, by using as little of it as possible. And what this does is it makes the people of the City of Lies stunted, small, malnourished, because they can never get enough of the nutrients or water that they need to grow. As the first page says in the opening narrative, and the first sentence is, "There is no water in the City of Lies." To the north, the Ajungo Empire had water like sky. They drank their fill, bathed daily, planted seeds, and watched them grow into trees fat with fruit. In exchange for water, the Ajungo demanded the tongues of every citizen of the City of Lies. It was a twofold price, a price of blood and a price of history. An untongued people cannot tell their story, but neither can the dead. The Ajungo renamed the city. Those old enough to remember the city's original name had no tongues to speak, and those young enough to speak had no memory. And so, generation after generation, the ruler of the city is allowed to keep their tongue solely so that they can beg for more. And they are the ones that partition the water to everyone else. Tutu is one of a long list of nearly adult 12-year-old wannabe heroes that go out into the desert surrounding the city hoping to find water, find a place, find friends, and allies that could help them, a valley where there might be water that they could all move to. But in their history, as they have taught themselves, no one is going to help a person from a city called the City of Lies, because who would help a liar? Someone whose whole city is named for deceit. And Tutu goes out, he's given a week's worth of water, he is given a camel, he is given a spear and a couple, like a small pittance to defend himself, and is told to explore and try and find this. And he is given the time limit of 1 year to find it. And I thought it was very interesting because it does introduce other characters. It's four other characters, three women from another city called the City of Lies that lack iron in their city. They have water, but they don't have iron. They can't heat up, like they can't make stews or soups. They can't heat up the water they have because the clay that they use can't survive the fire enough to heat it up. So they can't purify the water they have easily. They can't do what they need to do, and they have very little iron. And the Ajungo Empire is the one that renamed their city the City of Lies. They cut off their ears, I believe it is, and make it so that their citizens have to sacrifice themselves to get that which they need. And then we meet a character from another City of Lies that the Ajungo Empire has said, trade us your eyes and we will give you what you need. And in this case, they had so much water, the floods were killing people on a regular basis. They needed a way to dam up the water so that way they weren't going to be destroyed, killed constantly in annual flooding. And so an astute reader and observer would recognize there's a, like, kind of speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil kind of thing going on, where each of them are giving up a part of themselves in line with that kind of thought process. They can't speak, they can't see, they can't hear, and the Ajungo Empire is choking them of what it takes to truly grow and survive. No one can see from the one city, no one can hear, everyone is disfigured from the other city, everyone is parched in Tutu City. And these five characters meet up with Tutu at different times during his year out in the wilds, and they have been navigating those areas for long enough that they know where the oases are, they know where shelter is, they know where they can get food. And this allows Tutu in that 1 year from his 13th birthday to the end of the story to grow into his full adult size, to grow muscle, grow knowledge, grow skill. Now, $20 for 84 pages is a lot, and personally, I think $15 is a lot for that as well. That being said, the price of the number of pages isn't really the way you should look at it so much as how much value do you get out of these pages that you're reading. And in this case, the story being presented felt like it was something I couldn't put down. I had to read it again as soon as I finished it. I was nodding along as soon as I knew what was going on in the story, and I figured it out about halfway through. As soon as you figure it out, it's a page turner. You know you're going to have to finish the book before you can do anything else because this story is timeless. It is powerful and it is really succinctly put. I don't think Moses Ozeutomi could have done the same value in a book if he had made it say 120 pages. I think he would have been stretching it out and in a very obvious way. This book is just the right length for what it needs to be, and it is just one of my favorite books. Kind of like when I finished Untethered Sky. These novellas that you find, Untethered Sky, I think it was 2023 when I read it, Spear, when I read that last year, The Lies of the Ajungo, it is in the novellas that I am finding these stories that I just can't put down, that are page turners, that are character driven dramas. They don't necessarily have a incredibly powerful evil that they're fighting. It's the more down to earth and well made stories that I'm finding in these novellas. I, having read this, cannot wait to see what 2026 brings me. Untethered Sky, like I said, 2023, I could not put that down. I made a video of it as soon as I finished it. This was also a 2023 book, and, I only picked it up in September when I was visiting family, and I only read it in, I think, late September, maybe early October at the start of the furlough. This is an incredible book, and I cannot recommend it enough. So, yeah, I really loved this book. I think the price is a bit expensive for the size of the book, but it is an incredible story. The writing is beautiful, and the plot, once you figure it out, is timeless. And I think if you like short stories, this is going to be a great short story to pick up, and you're going to love it. So, yeah, my name is Wildstag, and thank you for tuning in to another used book rant.